Everyone. All right, so here we are, first day of March, 39th trading day of 2019, and third red day recap. What is going on? This week has been horrible. 4 out of 5 days this week were red. This is not good at all. I've really got to turn it around. You know, the good news is, up until yesterday, I was still green on the week. Well, now today I'm red on the week, which makes it my first red week of 2019. I guess I was due for a little bit of a pullback. You know, making $130,000 in the last 2 months has been amazing. So getting a little bit of a pullback here off those highs. And now I need to consolidate, tighten up my risk, focus on 8 quality setups, and get myself moving back up. That'll be the focus first thing Monday morning. As usual, any questions, any comments, leave them below. Give me a thumbs up for doing the red day recap. These days are not fun, but I know you guys learn a lot from them. So enjoy the recap, and as usual, leave comments below. All right, see you guys on Monday. All right, everyone. So we're going to do midday market recap, go over the trades from today, Friday, first day of March. And it's my third red day in a row, which is such a bummer. And today is the worst red day of them all. This has been a tough week. And I really, I was green. I was up like $1,200. And then I took that trade on GSB and just, gave it back. So it's a bummer, no doubt about it. It's not the way I wanted to start March. Having 3 red days in a row, this has been probably the worst trading week. Just this last week, the worst week that I've had all year. It's been a great year, but to have this kind of just bummer of a week is definitely disappointing. So March 1st, starting with a red day recap. Let's see, today is the 34th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 39th day of the year, day 39. And red day recap. So, today's one of those days where we ended up seeing some surprise momentum, which I didn't have high expectations for Friday, and the gap scanner this morning really wasn't all that strong. This was our gap scanner this morning. Leading gapper, PBYI, that's too expensive. GSB, which I traded, only had 500 shares of volume, so I really didn't even look at it pre-market. I didn't really look at it until the bell rang, and I saw that it was consolidating right here. And that's where I got in, and I'll cover that trade in a second. And then, NVAX, the float's too high. GPS, price is too high. That's not interesting. SSY, well, this ended up going from $1.45 up to a high of $1.65. Only 20 cents, not the biggest move. So I didn't do super well on I didn't even trade it. IGC took a stab on this one, and that was my first one. So this morning, this is what I was watching. I had IGC, PH, IIK, I had CIFS, and I can't remember, what was the and then I had BPTH, right, BPTH. So these were the 4 that I was watching this morning. Now, PHIIK, I thought looked interesting for continuation because you'll see yesterday it was actually pretty strong. Made this move from 220 all the way up to 360 right here, consolidating, but it needed to break over 3. I wasn't going to be the first one to buy it. I was waiting for the break of 3, and then I was going to jump in, and didn't happen, and then sold off, flushed back down. So disappointing there on PHIIX that we didn't get the that nice kind of continuation and follow through. So that one was off the list pretty quickly. BPTH, BPTH was also a continuation setup that I didn't really have super high hopes for, honestly. I put an order at $3, and my first trade on it was at right around 3. I'll cover that one in a second. The first one, though, was IGC. This was my first trade of the day. So this one, I was looking at the daily chart and said, okay, it's got room here up to 330. This is one to definitely keep an eye on. It's got some potential there, but the bell rang. Pre-market high was 93, and so I jumped in at 96 and 97, and then I sold on the ask at 99. I actually tried to sell at 302, and I got a weird fill. I don't know why my order went at 99, but only made $144 on that trade. it hit a high of 305 and then sold off. So, it didn't end up being, that clean kind of big breakout that maybe I was hoping for. So anyways, that was IGC. BPTH, this one hitting the scanner. I jump in. I guess my first entry was 324, adding it 345 and 349, and then selling it as it came back down here. Where was this? At 43 and 45. So not, my first trade on it wasn't really that great, because what ended up happening was it hit some resistance right here. Hit a high of 53, resistance, did a 1 minute micro pullback, broke out of that level, and squeezed up to a high of 89. Then it does a pullback here, and I added on this dip, which is a little unusual. It dipped down, and I added, where did I add? Let's see, added at 63 and 67 right here. So adding on this dip as it dips down and as it surges back up, I sold through the highs. So that was like I don't know, $900 winner or something like that. Adding here, waiting for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high, but then anticipating it and getting in just a little early. So we got that break and that move higher right there, which ended up being a nice little scalp. So I did well on this one, and then you can see it ended up going even higher without me, which, hindsight being 2020, I could have kept trading it. But this was around the time, what was this, 944, 943, that I jumped in GSB. So GSB, I saw out of the gates, it was on the gap scanner, wasn't really paying attention to it, but out of the gates it squeezed up to $6, made this big move, and then was consolidating right here under 6. So I looked at that and I was like, this thing looks, this looks good. I mean, it looks interesting. High a day is 596. It's got news today right here, fourth quarter. So, I took a look at the headlines and I was like, all right, this is a stock that has a catalyst. It has a reason, to be moving up. And, this is something that is certainly worth keeping a close eye on. So I jump in it at 6. It squeezes up right here. And usually when this happens, I'm thinking, okay, this has a lot of potential. So I just started adding. So I first got in at 6, and then I added at, let's see. So I got in at 6, added at 619, 614, 619, 641, 672. So I'm adding as it's squeezing up. I'm thinking that it's, this thing is going to squeeze into a circuit breaker halt at 7. And so I stepped up to the plate, and it hits a high of 7. And I'm like, all right, this looks good. It's up a whole $1 per share. Next mental target, $7.50. And the next minute, it drops right back down to $6.13. So, and then it continued sideways, and then that was it. So this was really super disappointing. I mean, just boom, popped up and then slammed right back down. So I lost $5,500 on it. And, I was like, all right, well, and this is kind of where today, I made the questionable decision of continuing to trade. On other days, usually I would say, look, you're past your max loss, call it quits. I think I was just frustrated on this one. Anytime emotion is coming into it, you should just step back. But I saw it consolidating like this. And I was like, you know what? This thing, it looks strong. And yesterday, the last couple of days, we've seen a bunch of these stocks that do these kind of rejection moves. They move up, they reject it, and then they end up in the afternoon or later in the morning squeezing right back up. So we saw it yesterday on CIFS. What were a couple of other ones that we've been watching? RKDA. These kind of big moves, rejections, looks like it's dead, and then right back up. And that, so this is the thing that made me kind of have hope that it may open up again. So I was like, all right, well, I've already hit max pain in my IRA, so I'm not going to trade in my IRA anymore. I'm going to pop up my main account. And I lost $4,500 in my main account. So in my main account, I took a trade on XSPA. This one hit our high-a-day momentum scanner. You can see right here. And this one I jumped into pretty quickly because it was a reverse split stock, recent reverse split right here. And so I saw that and I was like, yep, I'm jumping into this thing. This looks good. Well, that was okay. It ended up hitting a high of 4. Let's see what's on my scanner here. BPTH. So it ended up hitting a high of 409, and with 10,000 shares, I was able to make $2,000. So, that was okay. Let's look at BPTH for a second. Yeah, so that's moving a little higher. Anyways, but then I got into GSB again. I was like, nope, I'm going to get back into this. First 5-minute candle to make a new high right here. So I jump back in, and that ends up being a false breakout. Of course, now it's back at 605. So, if I come back in the morning or tomorrow or Monday morning and see that this went up to 650, I'm gonna lose it. But, I got back in, stepped up to the plate. I thought, maybe it would make another move higher, and I was wrong. PLAG hit the scanner, halted, open higher, dipped down, surging back up. The high is 430. So 430 is usually the level I would watch. But, today has been just a day of rejections. And, this is a disappointing way to start the month. That's for sure. No one likes to start the month deep in the red. Now, I'm further in the red than I would likely make back in one day. Now, having said all that, with my first trade on GSB, had this broken $7, had it gone into a circuit breaker halt, this probably would have been at least a $15,000 winner. So, again, it's risk to reward. So I lost, $5,000 with the potential to make 15. It's a good profit loss ratio. It was a trade that I think was worth stepping up to the plate to, that on another day, with the gap, with the news, might have been the biggest mover. And maybe today it wasn't because traders were focusing on BPTH. I'm not really sure exactly why it didn't, make the big move that I thought it would make, but this is just part of the life of a trader, that you are going to have days where you lose money. Being a trader trying to never lose money would be like being a boxer trying to never get hit in the face. You're in the wrong career. It's going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. So you just try to make the good decisions, keep the losses as tight as possible. Always ask yourself, do I have the potential to double what I'm risking? Whatever you're risking. Whether you're taking, you're stepping up to the plate like me and you're risking $5,000, which sometimes I will risk, and you guys have seen me make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on a really good day. It's risk to reward. But sometimes you take the risk and you lose, you get hit. And it's just, you got to, take the hit and be willing to just get back into it the next day. It's as simple as that. Monday is not about revenge trading. It's not about trying to make back all of today's loss. It's just going to be trading the market that I'm in. If I see something like GSB that looks really good, I'll probably be tempted to jump in it. Now, unfortunately, because I now have 3 red days in a row, even if I do see something that looks really good, I really do have to restrict myself a little bit, because at a certain point, you've got to cut the bleeding. You don't want to just keep getting it in the face, 10 days in a row. At a certain point, you got to be like, all right, I got to slow down here. As much as I can bank on, my last 3 years of 70% accuracy, this is a stretch that is not working super well for me. I got to reduce the share size and step back a little bit, until things start to feel a little easier and a little cleaner. So Monday, has to be kind of just, back to basics, focused on good quality setups and not trying to push my luck too much. And it's just one of those things. It's been a while now since I had a red day like this. I don't know if I have my 2018 calendar right here, but let's see. I thought I put it over here, but I don't see it. Well, no, that's not it. Well, whatever. In any case, no, it's right here. So, going back, this is the worst day so far of 2019. And the last time I had a day this bad FOMO. This is one of these things. You say, Ross, you're doing this recap. Look at BPTH just went from 520 to 620. I know. At a certain point, you got to cut your losses. The frustrating thing on these types of stocks is that they can grind and grind and grind, and then they just finally open up, and it can be a little bit of a surprise. It's all of a sudden you get that surprise breakout. So yeah, anyway, it's been a couple months since I had a loss. This bad. I've been pretty good about keeping the losses tight, which is great. That's always the name of the game. But today I stepped up to the plate. I was trying to hit a Friday home run, get myself off to a great start here in March, and it didn't end up working out for me. And then of course with my attention focused on that one, BPTH, maybe I didn't fully maximize on the opportunity, although at the same time you can see on the 5-minute doji candle, doji candle, doji candle, doji, doji. So not the absolute easiest. 18 million shares of volume now, easy to borrow. Tempting, no doubt about it, but at a certain point, rules are rules. And, if I jump into this here with 10,000, this is the thing with FOMO, is the higher it goes up, the more you feel like you should just jump in. And then you end up buying it up here, and it's like, hello, this thing just went from $5 to $7. Why are you buying it at 7? If you missed it, you missed it. So, that's a tough thing with FOMO, is that when you trade from that emotional perspective, it just puts you in this position where you break rules and you make really kind of irrational decisions that don't make sense, buying stocks like as they're hitting high of day, because you're just like, forget it, this thing's strong, I'm jumping in. And next thing you know, you just bought it at 650. Literally right now the high is 644, and there's someone who pressed the buy button at 644. They're down 20 cents. And what happens if this breaks, 610 and flushes down to 6? They're down 50 cents. With 10,000 shares, just like that, you give back $5,000. It can happen very fast. So, you got to really be at, your peak whenever you're trading. And if you start getting emotionally, fueled, that clouds your ability to be focused, and it makes you more apt to make mistakes. And no doubt for me, taking a good-sized loss like this makes me more apt to make a mistake and take a second trade, even though I really shouldn't. I should just call it a day, or maybe focus on something with more potential than just keep kind of going after a stock that already burned me once. But it is what it is. Even after years of doing this, it's easy to have a day where you let yourself break a couple rules, because you say, well, I've been doing this for a long time, I had a great month last month, I can take a little bit of risk, and it's just one of those things. You got to keep it in check. So yeah, today's a red day, a little disappointing there, but be back at it first thing Monday morning. Not really realistically too much damage. And this is of course the challenge with trading into accounts. You trade into accounts, you can make money in both accounts, and you can have two huge winners. And I've had days during this small account challenge from 583 up to 100K, and then up to now $1 million, where trading in both accounts, taking the same trade twice, I make twice as much money. But I've also had days where taking the same trade twice, I lose twice as much money, right? So this is one of those days where, I'm losing twice as much, trading both accounts, kind of the downside there. But that's okay. Again, all things considered, it's a red day, but it's not a blow up. It's not it's certainly not a catastrophic day. And, live to trade another day. Be back at it first thing tomorrow morning. Or Monday morning. All right, everyone. So that's it for me. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Rest up, study. Go through the classes. Go through the live trading examples. Let's hope that we have some good action next week. But be prepared for things to be maybe a little on the slower side, which means it's a great time to study, great time to practice in the simulator. And just trade smart. All right, everyone. I'll see you guys next week. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.